Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This one's gonna be an unboxing video. As you can see, I have 4 figures up here. These are just figures I've gathered for the month of July. As you can see, a little varied. I have 2 Jurassic World Amber Collection figures of Charlie and Blue. I have in the back, if you can see, the Playmates Kong figure from the Skull Island movie, and then right there is McFarlane's Doom Eternal Marauder. And so yeah, let's get right into it. Again, just 4 figures. Hopefully this won't be a 30-minute long video. I'll try to make sure it doesn't get that long. But let's go ahead and open these guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, and after all that unboxing, we have both Blue and Charlie. Again, these are from the Jurassic World line. These are from the Amber Collection line. And let's go ahead and start with Charlie, since he is my favorite color, green. But also just because, I'd like to save blue for last. Best for last kind of thing. But as you can see, we have Charlie. Again, green is my favorite shade of color. I never realized Charlie was green. In fact, I didn't even realize any of the Raptors colors scheme, to be honest. For some reason, even though the Jurassic World film is very bright, for some reason I could never tell the color scheme of the Raptors. So that's like, for me personally, I always had a hard time figuring out which was which. I'm not sure why that is, because after looking at some stills, I guess because these are higher res stills, but nevertheless, ever since I looked at some stills of the film, it's a lot easier to tell who's who. I mean, the colors are very distinct and they're very cool looking. I like the colors on these Raptors. I don't know why. Upon watching it a few times, maybe I need to watch it again. I mean, I haven't watched it in a while, but upon watching it the first few times, I never noticed who's who from the colors. It wasn't until the very end, when there was only blue, that I was able to figure out, okay, I think that one's blue. So it's very weird, but again, as you can see, really cool coloration. A lot of people have complained that the painting on Charlie isn't as isn't as like, how do you say, I don't know, it just feels very flat, very plain, and you can definitely see that it doesn't have, like that much shading and whatnot. It's just kind of a sort of a flat green. There is some transitional green of this like yellow green, and that's good looking, but just in terms of just the color, like the painting and the way it's applied, it is very flat. It's not very, it's not like professional painted. So that is a downside, because these are $30 figures. I don't know why they're $30 figures, but they're $30 figures. And, you're paying to get something that's a little more for the collectors, and you get paint that's more for what you see on the Mattel, for the kids line, for the smaller line. So that is a bit of a downside, but nevertheless, I still really like this green. Usually I'm more akin to a dark forest green, but this just looks nice, and I like the way the gold and everything sits on that. It's a cool looking toy. Now, as you can see, I did put his little head collar on. Blue does not come with one for some reason, but Charlie does, and it's cool looking. It's all rubber, and to put it on, I did not like that, because you basically had to just like close the mouth and just try and stretch it so that it can fit all the way down to his neck. I would have much preferred a latch system. I think that would have made things a lot. It looks like there should have been too. Like, there's like this little connector piece somewhere, but I would have much preferred that over just stretching out the plastic, because I literally felt like it might have snapped if I had pushed anymore. But I did, and it goes like that. Now, if you have the original Amber Collection Raptor from Jurassic Park 1, the articulation is exactly the same. It's very good. I mean, I like it. I mean, there's the head joint, and then the neck joint, their ball joints. You got a really cool, like they do this for the super colossal dinosaurs, and you can open their mouths like this, and it's just really cool. It makes them have a much wider mouth, and it's cool because for posability, you could just like have it to where the bottom mouth is open. It looks more like classic Jurassic Park. Or you can if you're putting them in the running pose, you can kind of put their head like that, and maybe it's, again, just to make it look a little more running. Or if you want to do the Jurassic World, kind of thing where it's like the raptor's mouth's open like that. You know, it's really cool. It gives you a few possibility options. Now, something that sucks is that my sickle claw on this one is stuck. It just will not budge, and I do not want to break it. So, you know. And in case y'all are wondering where I got these two from, I got them from Amazon.com. You know, they shipped it, and you know, it came the box for Charlie was a little messed up, so I feel like Charlie didn't get as much love as Blue did, but they came in the same box. So but I mean, either way, I mean, you know, I'm not blaming Amazon. I'm just like, but you know, I got it from Amazon because you know, I had trouble finding it. I couldn't find it at GameStop or ThinkGeek or anywhere. I mean, like, no one's really selling this. Although I did see recently, apparently Target might be the new seller for these things, so that'll be pretty interesting to see. But yeah, no, so I mean, I got it from Amazon. Amazon shipped it very fast. They shipped, you know, it came in fast, like, you know, in the next couple days. So, you know, if you have to get it from Amazon, definitely, you know. But I'm just telling you, like, mine's came a little busted. Now let's go to Blue, which I'm pretty sure is everyone, if not almost everyone's favorite raptor from the Raptor squad. At least for me, I mean, I think she's kind of a really cool raptor. I mean, granted, she gets more screen time, so she, you know, you kind of like her more just by default. But yeah, I really like the way they've been kind of setting up these raptors. I know it makes them more like, domesticated, and that makes them feel a little more less intimidating. But I don't think these raptors are meant to be intimidating. I mean, the Jurassic Park raptors are meant to be intimidating because, you know, they'll kill you without blinking an eye. These raptors were meant to be trained. I mean, that was always the idea. But the thing that I always liked from the films, that for some reason I just don't think anyone really gets, is that, you know, like Owen makes a point of showing, you know, these guys are trained, but one wrong move and these guys will attack people. I mean, it was shown in the beginning of the movie, and I even like how Owen says, you know, if you shoot these things, even if it's with a tranq dart, they will never trust me again. And that's something that's like, you know, yeah, I mean, that is something that, you know, in real life, I mean, I say real life with, you know, dinosaurs, but you know what I'm saying, with real life animals, that is a thing that happens. You know, you build especially like with a reptile, you know, you build trust with an animal, and if you mess up, and you mess up in a really bad way, that animal it'll be a long time before that animal can start trusting you again, you know. And so it's stuff like that. It's like, you know, they feel more domesticated, sure, but at the end of the day, they, you know, at least I felt, especially in the first Jurassic World, they treated them like still like the raptors. You know, they're dangerous animals, they're dangerous creatures. They're just, you know, these just came out a lot tamer because, I mean, especially, you know, I mean, if you listen to like videos like Lane Fioriti, I'm forgetting I'm not sure how to say his last name, but you know, he goes into depth about why these raptors are a lot tamer and stuff, and like he has a lot of videos about Jurassic World. If you like Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, definitely click on his videos because they're very fun to watch, just to like know stuff about like what they took from the books and, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, something interesting from the books was that, you know, it seemed like they might have gotten to that point where they might have been able to produce tame raptors, at least if I remember correctly. I might be getting that wrong. But and it seemed like Jurassic World kind of brought that idea to life, that like, you know, what if InGen had made raptors that would have been more tame, and, you know, these are kind of them, where it's like, I mean, you saw in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom where Blue was kind of, you know, she came out and was the beta, as Jurassic World puts it, and, you know, so she had a lot of control over the other raptors and was able to kind of like help them follow Owen in a way. So, you know, again, I like the way that they portray these raptors. They're really cool. But you know, I've gone on long on enough. I need to move on. But yeah, I mean, here's the raptors. Here's the original Jurassic Park raptor. You know, so they all scare really well. I got this one more in a hunched pose, but, you know, again, you can just like raise her up, and they're like, you know, they're all in the same scale. This one's giving me some issue, but yeah, they're all in the same scale. They all look really good together. I remember some people complained that this one was not accurate to the original Jurassic Park raptor design, and I think that it's because they just took the Jurassic World design and just kind of reused it. But at least for me, I mean, I don't know, I'm not I guess I'm not an Omega Jurassic Park fan because I can't tell the small details, but I always thought that this still looked pretty accurate. Painting wise, I still think that this one is the best just because of the shading and all that stuff, and I love the way the paint just blends together. Blue is honestly the second because I just love how everything came out. The blue stripe looks amazing. You know, I love the patches of shading that they put around it just to make it look subtle but still, you know, very realistic. Like if you look at this from afar, it looks extremely realistic. You know, and then Charlie's, you know, the third, but I still like Charlie. But yeah, I mean, just the detail and everything. These guys are really, if you're a big Jurassic World fan or Jurassic Park fan, you know, you'll love these guys. I'm sure you already had them because these guys have been out for a while. But yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, just pick these guys up if you can. But yeah, so let's move on to the next one. I think I'm gonna do King Kong, the Playmates King Kong. Alright, and here we have the Playmates Kong. As you can see, very, very simplistic, you know what I mean? It's very shiny, it's, you know, it's a kid's toy. With that being said, Playmates has been having, well, you know, not so great figures to say the least, at least with their Shin Godzilla and Space Godzilla. I think for the most part, their figures do look decent, but I haven't had really the care to pick them up because honestly a lot of them just look like remolds, and plus a lot of those characters I already kind of have anyways, so I'm not really inclined to get them. However, I never got a 2017 Skull Island Kong, and with Godzilla vs. Kong coming out next year and then putting out the figures already, I figured why not go ahead and get one before this guy kind of, you know, might possibly go out of stock at some time. Although there were plenty of Kongs at my Walmart. And again, if you are at all interested in the Playmates Godzilla Kong figures, whatever they're called, they are Walmart exclusives, I believe. I only see them at Walmart. But again, as you can see, you know, for articulation wise, it's simple. There's, you know, you can go 360 here, 360, no, actually it just stops right here apparently. Okay, but then 360 right here. So, you know, limited but cool. But the cool part is that he actually has a ball jointed head, which is actually really neat. Now, it doesn't do a whole lot, but in terms of just like being able to do anything, I mean, it's you know, it's nice to see instead of him just doing that. You know, he actually can look up, side to side. You know, he can be a little more stoic or something. You know, just look off in the distance in the sunset. So, you know, like honestly, giving these guys more articulation really just brings the character out of them. So, you know, I'm glad that they at least put that. But again, you know, Playmates hasn't been having a good track record so far. I mean, they just apparently they have a Final Wars Godzilla that's in the 6-inch line, and it does not look good. You know, they somehow messed it up, even though they had a really good, I think a really good, or at least a solid 11-inch figure, because that one actually looks like the suit, unlike the Bandai one. At least the Bandai 12-inch, whatever it's called. So, you know, again, hit or miss, but this guy I think is definitely a hit because, at least in my opinion, he looks good. The only thing that's weird is that he has this weird inconsistent plastic quality. Like, this feels very squishy. This, solid as heck. This kind of in between. It's like it's hard plastic, but it feels kind of soft too. Then back to solid, but not as solid as this one. I mean, I think this is, or at least this feels hollow. This doesn't. And then back to more squishy feet. So this is very inconsistent plastic. I mean, again, you know, I haven't gotten any Playmates figures in a while. The last ones I got were the the King Kong figures from 2005. I don't even have them anymore, but I remember I had like the V-Rex that you could like eat people and like you could like open the stomach and they fall out. That one was cool. And I also had the Big Kong. And I remember those figures having really hard plastic. You know, it's kind of the figures where like, you know, you try and bend the elbow and all of a sudden you're like, ah, my finger got pinched by the joints or whatever. But, you know, still, those were really awesome figures. These ones, I mean, they look okay. However, I will say the Godzilla vs. Kong line, those look decent. I might get those because those look kind of cool. I know a lot of people are, you know, hating on them because of the figures they put out previously and the fact that NECA had to lose the license because of them, which that I'm not happy about. I'm very upset about that. But nevertheless, I mean, and to be honest, I don't think, I mean, the way NECA's been kind of doing stuff, I feel like even had they done the line, we probably would have gotten a new Godzilla mold. If that, it probably would have been just the King of the Monsters mold, because it feels like, well, granted they are doing a King Kong figure, but I just get the feeling they wouldn't have been able to do Kong, because for some reason that license is really hard to do. But nevertheless, you know, we lost NECA. It stinks, it sucks, but you know, I mean, the Godzilla vs. Kong figures, at least by Playmates, they don't look that bad. I mean, they look fine. It's just the guys from this line, the classic line, that look off. But anyways, I mean, you know, like I said, you know, very simple. Detail is very wonky looking. You know, I saw someone who actually custom painted this thing, and it looks really cool. Except when you custom paint it, it actually shows off how lacking the fur detail is, because it's just kind of in blotches. Like, I don't know if you can really tell, but yeah, I mean, like, there's detail on there, there's no doubt about that, and it looks good. But when you try to customize it and make it look professional, I think it really shows how blotchy the detail is, and how just not pronounced, or whatever you say, how just not well sculpted it is. Like, it's very surface flat level kind of stuff. The only part where I think the fur looks really good is maybe on the face, and maybe some parts on the arms, but for the most part the detail is very, very flat. You know, even with all that hair looking detail, it's somewhat flat. So, you know, just it's a mix. It sounds like a mixed bag figure, because the quality is a mixed bag. But just for having a Kong Skull Island figure, which is something I never got. I never got the Leonard figure because I thought that one was just way too big. Like, it honestly, it outscaled any Godzilla figure I had, especially the NECA 12-inch one. And so I just didn't think it was really worth getting, because Kong's supposed to be, you know, to the height of Godzilla's, like, you know, like you see Godzilla right there. It's supposed to be like somewhere right there. And so even if I had to use him for a Godzilla vs. Kong type figure, I mean, he's still bigger than my Godzilla, so, you know, it just didn't seem worth getting. And they just didn't make any good Kong figures, you know, like there was only the Leonard giant one, and that was it. So this is the best we got. That being said, he's still really cool looking. And again, I'm just glad to have a Kong Skull Island figure. But let's do some comparisons. I have some comparisons. Now, this is just completely unfair, but you know, you know, I just wanted to show it off. So here is the Mezco Kong next to the Playmates Kong, and again, just completely unfair. One is extremely detailed, like just super detailed. The hair and everything looks like just spectacular. The painting is so good, and while the articulation is lacking, it still has more than this guy. But this is like a $40-$50, at least that's how much I think I paid for him, like a $40 figure, you know. And was it 40? It might have been more, maybe, I'm not sure, I can't remember. But a very, you know, more expensive collector type figure. And yeah, just meant to be, and it's stylized, it's based off a comic book version, but yeah, still, it's so detailed and just amazing looking. I mean, the face looks incredible. You know, it's not just plain looking. You know, he has a stern look. He's, you know, like he's looking at something really cool. And then, as you can see, there's Playmates, and you know, again, just unfair, but you know, just thought I showed off anyways, because this is literally the only Kong figure I have. You know, I also wanted to get this guy just to build up my, you know, a Kong collection at the very least. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get to the next comparison. Now, since this version of Kong is going to be fighting against the legendary Godzilla, I thought I'd at least show off both legendary Godzillas that I have. Now, these are the NECA versions. I have the SH Monster as 2019, but I thought I'd just show the NECA ones since I already had them out. And here you can see, you know, 2014, you know, this was the first Godzilla to come out of the MonsterVerse. You know, as you can see, he's shorter than Kong, which is inaccurate, but it's still really cool. Let's go ahead and let's show him off against the Godzilla that he's actually going to be fighting against, which is the King of the Monsters version, because it seems like he's going to be keeping the same design, which, you know, I'm completely fine with. And again, he's taller than Godzilla, which not really accurate, but still, you know, if you want to have them staring at each other, like, you know, like they're ready to fight, you know, it's really cool. But yeah, and again, just a bit of an unfair oops, just a bit of an unfair comparison because these are like much better sculpted, more collector friendly type figures. Man, this guy keeps falling. As you know, as opposed to Playmates where it's more for kids. So again, you know, unfair, but hey, you know, just for the heck of it. But yeah, so that's them. And I think I could probably do one more. And I thought just for the heck of it, why not show off the King of the Monsters SH Monster Arts Godzilla. Again, this is really unfair because I mean it's Monster Arts, you know, but still. I mean, as you can see, I got them somewhat posed together. This one looks much more, you know, guys, looks much more, you know, posed. Where Kong, I just kind of moved his hand up, moved his head, but you know, still you can see. I mean, this is what they look like, you know, fighting together. I actually think the Monster Arts might be a little taller, so that's a benefit. So you know, if you want to get them to like a standoff pose, I think that this size does work together. But yeah, no, so that's about it. So instead of wasting more time, let's just go ahead and get to the Marauder figure and then let's call it a day. So, and here we have everyone's favorite enemy from Doom Eternal. I'm sure that's not sarcastic. But yeah, here we have the Doom Eternal Marauder by McFarlane Toys. And as you can see, you know, I got him in like a kind of a just axe, you know, just kind of axe over his back kind of stance, but you know, just a standard pose, typical pose. But something interesting to note is just where the axe kind of goes. Now, at least as far as I can tell from the packaging and just the way the hand is shaped, I get the feeling that they wanted the axe to be on the left-handed, or on the left hand of the Marauder. But if you look at just kind of art and just stills from the game, the axe is actually supposed to be on the right hand. At least that's how he holds it in a lot of the gameplay footage and all that stuff. So it's a bit weird. And what's even weirder is that the right hand doesn't even look like it can really hold the axe because it's a very tight grip, almost, and with the finger out like a trigger finger. I get the feeling he was supposed to come with a shotgun, but never did. There's not one in the packaging. So that's a bit weird. At the very least, I would have liked if he came with his annoying, and I just mean annoying, shield that he has in the game. But, I don't know, just weird that they didn't do that. Maybe they're planning on releasing a second one, as there are many Marauders in the game, not just one. But yeah, as you can see, you know, really good. Like, if you look right here, it's hard to tell, but there's some really cool etching, just some really cool detail. The paint is great. It's McFarlane. Although I do wish that the eyes were red instead of yellow, but still, you know, very accurate to what we see in the game. He has little skulls on his little belt thing right here. Just quick turnaround of, you know, all of that. And you can see now his face mask is one piece. I thought it would have been cool because sometimes when you do his the Slayer's glory kills, you know, he'll like the face mask will fall off and you'll see like a skeleton face under there. I thought it would have been cool. Maybe you could see that. The paint kind of just drops off. Like, you know, you can see the vein detail right here, but there's veins on his on his abs, but they're not painted, so you can't really see them. Like maybe if I. So you can kind of see, like, you know, right there's some, you know, paint detail. So yeah, just kind of odd if you ask me that, you know, they didn't paint that. Just some weird choices here and there, but overall great, and I mean great figure. I mean, I think, like, at least from what I got from the articulation, much better. I mean, look at that, he has elbow articulation, much better than the Slayer in terms of articulation. I feel like I feel like they should redo the Slayer, the Doom Eternal Slayer. Maybe, you know, do one with like more articulation. I also think that they should do maybe like what they did with what McFarlane did with the Halo Reach toy line, and just have a pack of all the Doom guy's weapons, just so that we're not just stuck with a super shotgun. But as you can see, for comparison here, I'm only gonna do one, but as you can see, for comparison, we got Mr. Slayer himself. And they just scale perfectly. Although I feel like Doom guy is like just bigger, like proportionally, like his head is bigger, his biceps are, you know, tree trunks. Kind of makes the Marauder feel a little weaker, or look a little weaker. But you know, man, like this is really cool. But his shotgun still falls out. It's so weird. It doesn't have a very good weapon holding hand, but you know, just have them staring off like they're about to just whoop each other's butts, you know. But yes, I mean, just really cool. And again, you know, you see right here, I mean, he has like this trigger finger hand, so I wonder if maybe you could put this shotgun onto him and maybe have him holding it, because he does have a shotgun in the game. And he even has a holster, but the holster is like one piece, it's solid, so kind of weird. But you know, nevertheless, I got this guy from Thinky because I was actually trying to look for different figures, but I ended up finding him, and I thought, well, you know what, I didn't even realize the Marauder's out, let me just pick him up because he looks awesome. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep this one short, and yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and call it there, and yeah, I hope you liked it. Well, what do we have here? Looks like I'm just full of surprises today. But no, I actually wanted to put this in. I forgot to put him in at the beginning, and I just thought I'd just leave it at the end as a surprise extra bit. But yeah, this is actually Studio Series Ironhide from, as I said, the Studio Series line from Transformers by Hasbro. And yeah, I do not have the box for him because I actually got this secondhand. Now, I actually bought this from someone on the OfferUp app. I don't know his name, nor will I think it's probably a good idea to say it anyways. But yeah, no, I mean, he just, I've been like, if you've been looking at any of my Studio Series unboxing videos, you know that in terms of trying to get this guy, you know, I like there's that story. You know, I was going to get, I had a choice between him and the tattooed Starscream, and I thought, well, maybe Starscream isn't gonna appear at stores, so I ended up getting him because I'm like, well, this surely they'll put Ironhide at the stores. I bought him, or I bought Starscream, and then I went looking for Ironhide. Never found Ironhide, but guess who I found on the shelves of Target? The Dark of the Moon tattooed Starscream, and I just sat there and I'm like, wow, you know, that really aggravated me. And I never found Ironhide. Ironhide was always missing from my collection. So, you know, when it came, so I always tried finding him, but every time I saw anything of him, it was too overpriced. He'd either be between 40 bucks to just straight up 100 bucks. Ridiculous. I could have gotten the 41, but just couldn't come to do it, especially when this is like a $25, $30 figure. Even though it's only $10 more, I mean, you gotta factor in the fact that this guy's charging shipping as well, and it's like, man, you know, can't catch a break. So yeah, just in terms of finding this guy, it's almost impossible. And I was always upset that I never got him because I got everyone else, I just never found Ironhide. And Ironhide is the reason why if I ever see something, I'm just gonna get it no matter what. Because, you know, I just got so mad that I could never find him. But again, I was actually selling something. Someone was like, well, hey, if you're looking at for Transformers, you know, there's this guy on here, he has an Ironhide. And I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah. You know, checked him. It was like, oh, snap. I was like, I'm willing to buy this. You know, he's like, all right, sure. You know, we met up, I got it, and I was like, all right. You know, but again, he didn't come with the box. But honestly, I don't even care at this point. I got it for like 25 bucks, 20 bucks. You know, the best price you could get for this figure. So yeah, and I actually do want to do a little bit of a comparison, so I'll be right back. And right here we have the original Autobot characters from that 2007 Michael Bay film, which kicked off my just love for the franchise in general. And as you can see, we have, you know, again, Jazz, Bumblebee, Ratchet, Ironhide, and then Optimus right there in the back. And I mean, again, you have no idea just how happy it just makes me feel just to be able to, you know, set these characters up like this. You know, it's really awesome because, again, you know, like, I know a lot of people really don't like the Michael Bay movies, but it's because of those movies that I got into Transformers. I always was more of the movie fan because I just really like the movies. I like, you know, the first one, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark Moon, everything after that, you know, everything. You know, from that point, you know, just from 2007, you know, I loved all the movies. Even the weaker ones, you know, the ones that people say are, you know, aren't as good. I love those too. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I always just really liked them, and it's just like I guess you could say guilty pleasure, but I mean, I don't know. But yeah, and you know, again, like I said, it kicked off just, you know, just not only me liking the movies, but even just Transformers in general. I mean, you know, they're the reasons why I even paid attention to stuff like War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Transformers Prime. I even watched some of Transformers Animated when I was younger, when it came out. You know, just so much Transformers. And now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit burnt out on Transformers, mainly because I just kind of feel like the fan base has been toxic ever since Bumblebee came out. And not to say anything bad about Bumblebee, the movie was good, it was fun, it's entertaining, but I don't know, ever since Bumblebee came out, I just feel like the fan base just grew extra toxic, because it's like, oh look, a G1 thing, oh yay, it's you know, automatically better than anything the movies did, you know, even though we haven't seen the movie, it's already better. And oh, you know, it's you know, screw everything else, G1 is the only thing that should ever exist. You know, I'm not, and granted, that's not everybody. You know, I'm not trying to generalize, you know, the entire fan base just because of a few people. I mean, that's not right. But still, you know, it did burn me out a little bit into Transformers. But, you know, nevertheless, I will always have, you know, a huge place in my heart for, you know, these Transformers. I mean, it's, for me, it's always been Godzilla. That's my #1 because that's what I grew up on. You know, that was the first thing I think I ever had, like, you know, just a huge fascination for. And then Transformers, but specifically these Transformers, these guys are my favorites. You know, I don't care what anyone says, you know, but you know, I will always love these versions of Bumblebee, Ratchet, Ironhide, Jazz, and Optimus, and so on and so forth. So yeah, but that's gonna conclude everything, and let's go ahead and end the video. And here we have all 5 figures all wrapped together. Originally 4, but now 5 because of Ironhide. And yeah, so again, just to run over, we have a Kong from Skull Island by Playmates, 2 Amber Collection Velociraptors, Charlie and Blue, the Marauder by McFarlane Toys, and then Hasbro's Studio Series Ironhide from the first Transformers. And so that about wraps it up. I really hope you all enjoyed it. I hope I did my best at making this short, you know. So, and I hope y'all enjoyed this once again. Thank y'all for watching it. I appreciate everything, you know, even if it's just a watch, a like, or whatever, just anything. I appreciate all the help that y'all support, that y'all provide. And, you know, be sure to check out my art Instagram page, Giovanni Arts and Collectibles. That's where I post pictures of my sculptures, my collectibles right here, just anything I feel like putting up on there. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it. So thank you for watching again, and have a great day. Bye.